Hi, Jack Bennett here. Thanks for tuning into the lesson. Today I'm going to do another demonstration on the PROLOGIX 13-inch Grafix Pad. This is a really hard surface pad and you get a lot of rebound out of it. So I think it's really good if you're just starting out and you're trying to learn how to control rebound and control your sticks, and you sort of haven't necessarily figured out how the wrist works in relation to the fingers and so forth with trying to ascertain certain speeds. This is a really good pad because you're getting maximum rebound, so it's really helping you to play a lot. Really good for beginners, this pad. Okay, now the exercise that we're going to do today is going to be involving triplets, and we're going to be going from playing 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 and 12 and back down again per hand change within triplets. Okay, so the idea with this is that you're teaching yourself to not only alternate within certain groupings, but the idea is that you want to try and keep all of the notes as even as possible. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can either do an accent at the start and then the rest of the notes for that hand, but the way that we're going to do it today is to try and not have any accents at all. Okay, so I'll just play you at speed what the exercise is, and then I'll break it down and show you what we're doing. Okay. So we're going to keep the bass drum going on the quarter note pulse, and we'll play the hands over the top. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Now, if you were doing the full exercise in a proper practice routine, you would probably do each unit for maybe 20 or 30 seconds before moving on to the next one to really just lock it into the tempo. You could see there I was changing it only after about a bar or maybe 3 or 4 cycles each. So as you can see there, we're alternating from singles, which is just alternating, and then we're going into 2 per hand, but we're still playing triplets, so it's. Then we're going to 3s, that's easy because that's just triplets. Then we go into 4s. Then we go into 5s. Then 6s. Then 9s, that puts you in 3/4. And then 12s, and then you would go all the way back down again. So 12, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So as I said at the start, the idea here is to try and not get accents. All right. So we're going like. And so on. You will always get a slight accent probably on that first one, and you might also, depending on the sticks, you might hear a slight pitch difference in the sticks if you're really listening close. But that's the idea of the exercise. Now, just a little note on technique. Depending on what speed you're playing at, and this is really important to learn on this pad, you're probably either going to be using more wrist or more fingers, and it's to do with what speed or tempo you're playing at. If you're playing slower, you'll be using more or almost only wrist. Okay, like if you were going really slow, like. Well, it's not fast enough yet to warrant using the fingers. The fingers are the fast twitch. They're like the higher gear. When you want to go really, really fast, you gradually incorporate the fingers, okay? We don't need to do that yet because we're playing so slow, so we'll just use all wrist. As we get to like medium fast tempos with technique, we start to incorporate the fingers, but it's not like a cut-off point at a certain beats per minute that you automatically switched from only wrist to only fingers. It's a gradual thing. There's a lot of tempos where you're using both wrist and fingers. Okay, so when we get to about here, I'm starting to use fingers as well as wrist. It's not only wrist, it's not, because that's too stiff and rigid, but it's not only fingers either, because that would be extremely difficult to do. Okay, and when we get to faster than that, so that's like medium fast, faster than that, then it becomes mainly fingers. You can see my wrist is pretty still at that point. but I probably am just, flicking the wrist a tiny bit as well. So don't think of it in terms of you must only use wrist then only use fingers. It's always a combination of them all, of both, but it's just a matter of how much you use of which at what speed. Okay, so apply that to this exercise now. If you're playing it really fast, etc., then you are going to be using more fingers than if you're just going, etc. Okay, that's a really good exercise. I'm demonstrating that on the PROLOGIX Grafix Series Pad 13-inch.